Hey everybody, what's going on? Gene Jackson here for the Retro Wrestling Archive, and we haven't done one of these live videos in a while, so I just thought I'd drop in and give everybody a few updates on the channel, let everybody know what's going on, and see if anybody drops in tonight and wants to ask some questions and have a little bit of a talk. But if not, then I'll just share some updates and keep it moving here. So, anyway, as you can see here on the channel, we have gotten up most of the OVW everybody requested. Right now, we're in the middle of getting the rest of OVW 2004 up. Hope to get all that loaded up over the weekend. That's the plan, anyway. And got a few episodes, and I'm not anywhere close to the whole season, but we got quite a few episodes of the 2008 uh, OVW season. So we'll put those up after we get through with 2004. And we may circle back and see what all I'm missing with 99 and 2000 OVW. But other than that, I think we've got most of it up now. I've got some AWA 87 and 88 stuff we'll be putting up. And I got some other things in the works that I'm looking at that I will be posting here on the channel here real soon. And as far as the Patreon, all the people that joined the Patreon, I know a lot of people joined for the Google Drive, so appreciate that. We now have, the big selling point for the Google Drive is the Mega Memphis folder with pretty much the most old school Memphis wrestling you'll find in one spot. And we're still adding to that. We've got almost all the CWA, all the USWA that's out there that I know of. And I've got a few things trickling in, odd missing episodes that people are sending me, and I'm adding those as I get a hold of them to make that as complete as possible. And now we have the entire run of Power Pro up on the drive, and I'm working on getting KEW, Kick Ass Wrestling, getting all that transferred over and uploaded to the drive as well. I don't know if I can really put KEW up on the channel just because there's so much licensed music throughout the shows. They played music during the matches, which makes it really hard to putting that up on the channel. You get just nailed with copyright strikes, and then you got to mute the sound, and then with it going on during the match, you'd have to mute the commentary, and I don't know that it's worth it. So if you want to check out that. It's over on the drive, along with we've got all the Memphis Championship Wrestling from 2000 and 2001 here on the channel. But it's also available on the drive for downloads as well. So whichever way you prefer to partake of it, it's there. So check it out, and we'll have some more stuff coming to the drive here real soon. But we definitely want to build up that Memphis folder is my main goal there. Let's check in. Russell, greetings from Orlando. Love the channel. Much appreciated on Southern Championship Wrestling and Pro Wrestling with Joe Pedicino. Love the shows. Enjoy the USWA podcast. You, Josh, and Richard do. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Actually, a kind of an announcement I'll make here about the USWA podcast. Up till now, it's exclusive to WrestleCopia. It's on the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, the audio version, and then the video version goes up over on the WrestleCopia channel. Well, starting with season 2, we're about to wrap up 1993. The season finale is coming up. We're recording it this weekend. It'll come out next Wednesday. And when we move to 1991, when we start season 2 of the Retro Wrestling Review, it's going to be not only on WrestleCopia, but it will be uploaded here to this channel as well here at the Retro Wrestling Archive. So I'm really happy about that. Dangerous Conversations with Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich is here on this channel now, and the USWA podcast will live here as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also excited to want to talk about tonight. We've had some other podcasts join the channel here. that we're putting their episodes up to help kind of spread the word about their podcast and get it out to all the great subscribers here. That's well over 7,000 of you here now, and then there's people that drop in every day that aren't subscribers that check out the content. And so we've got the WNW podcast now with Izzy High and the THC dog, Christopher Pelton, is up on the channel now, coming out each and every week. Great stuff from those guys. And of course, we are putting up content from Brian Trammell's stspod.club channel. And a lot of it right now, what we're putting up is a show that me and Brian used to do together, and it started like in 2017, I think it was. Was It Really That Good, which was really the precursor and kind of the concept show for where the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast came from, and where all my, nostalgia podcasts, they all kind of start there with that show me and Brian did. Was It Really That Good? So I'm happy to be putting those episodes up on this channel now. We're going to be putting a lot of Brian's other content up here too. So glad to have Brian Trammell not only as a frequent guest co-host on the USWA podcast, but having up a lot of the STS content here as well. See, Russell says, keep up the great work. Also, great job with Dangerous Conversations with Doug and Tommy. Love hearing you three as well. Man, I appreciate that. I love doing that show. Man, those guys are great. They're just a wealth of knowledge. They've got so many great stories. And, it's just fun talking to them every week. It's just like, hanging out with friends or something. It's not like a high pressure interview situation. We just hang out and, I get to hear them tell old stories. I get to pick their brain and ask them questions. So that's a lot of fun. And then especially when we get to do the Q&A episodes where the listeners send in their questions, and they really enjoy that. And the listeners seem to enjoy it as well. Let's see, Russell, any more WWA from Texas? I don't know. I'm still digging around and seeing what I can come up with on that. I've, like I say, right now I'm kind of pressed for time, so I'm not able to pull as much off of my DVD collection as I'd like to. We'll get around to that eventually, but right now I'm just having to kind of sift through drives and put up stuff that's already been pulled off of discs. And so as I'm finding things, I'm putting it out there. So, yeah, hopefully we'll find some more of that. We shall definitely see. I'll definitely keep digging and seeing what I can come up with. And another great podcast that has joined the channel, I hope everybody's checking out, is the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel with Tony Richards. Tony focuses on like the 60s and 70s and a lot of older wrestling history than most podcasts, and I think that's great. I think that's a time frame that's often ignored and doesn't get talked about enough. And me and Tony had a discussion about that recently, and how he's wanting to get a lot of these guys on the show and talk about it, because that window of time is closing where these guys are still around and still able to remember and talk about that era of wrestling. So I'm glad Tony's doing that. I'm really pleased to have the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel on the channel, as well as, like I say, all the great programming we're getting from stspod.club and Brian Trammell, as well as the WNW podcast from Izzy High, aka American Kickboxer, and THC Dog, aka Christopher Pelton. So, and we've got some other people that we're in talks with that are interested in bringing their content to the channel. Some of it's other, podcast and video cast, and some of it we're talking to a couple of promotions about maybe putting some of their footage here on the show. It's the Retro Wrestling Archive, so I don't really want to get into a lot of new and current stuff. But there's promotions that's got their archive of footage, and so we're gonna start going through some of that and seeing what would play well here on the channel, and what I think the viewers and subscribers would like. So looking at that as well. So be on the lookout. Plenty of new content coming up here Like I say, both here on the channel. And then, of course, there's the Patreon where you can hear dangerous conversations, early. We post it up, usually a day or two early over there. And you hear the pre and post show. Show is called Hot Mics, where me, Richard, and Josh record sometimes before, but always after the USWA podcast. And it's pretty fun. A lot of times we'll talk about, topics from the show. Sometimes we'll talk about other wrestling related topics that have nothing to do with the USWA. And, for the people who, who enjoy the impressions, especially the ones Josh does on the USWA show. And if you think those get out of hand sometimes, boy, join the Patreon and check out the Hot Mic show, because there's some really fun stuff with some of those impressions that you hear on the USWA show, and some that you probably haven't heard on there that we don't do on there. At least we haven't as of yet. So join the Patreon, check it out. There's the just the regular tier where you can get like Hot Mics and the early preview of some of the shows, and then there's also the level with the Google Drive. And Russell says, I love the Corey Macklin. Yeah, I enjoy the Corey Macklin impression. It's just hard not to do it, man. You sit and watch that show every week, and you start picking up on things like the fact that Corey says "in there" like every other sentence, and it sticks out to you. You know what I mean? And just everything is, Jeff Jarrett, and I hit him with a drop kick in there. And I was like, my gosh, if you had a drinking game for every time Corey says "in there" in a match, you would just be completely shithoused before the second match, I feel like. But that's the only thing about us dipping back to 1991. We won't have Corey Macklin. We'll have Dave Brown. We'll have Michael St. John in the mix, but we won't have Corey Macklin. And I think I'll miss Corey. I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll make do. But thanks, buddy. Just dropped my. Well, Russell, I'm glad you're along with me tonight. Like I say, this was kind of an impromptu. I had a few minutes, jumped on here. Been super busy lately. I had intended originally to do these like every week or every other week, and just haven't had the time, man. I was working on all these podcasts. So, I got, the USWA one, the one with Doug and Tommy. I got another one here on YouTube, Retro Wrestling, that I try to do when I have time, but it's fallen to the wayside. It's not every week. It's just going to be when I can line up interviews and things. And then I do the regional wrestling Memphis 1985 with Ray Russell over at WrestleCopia. I have a lot of fun doing that. I do the Coliseum video cast with Ray over there on his Patreon. And so I really need to start getting more content onto our Patreon here at the Retro Wrestling Archive. And speaking of that, we're going to be recording this next week on Tuesday night, the debut episode of something we mentioned here on the channel, 3 or 4 months ago, probably, but we're just now getting around to doing it. The Retro Wrestling Review CWA podcast, which is going to be myself and Brian Tremmel. It's going to be Patreon exclusive. It's going to be on my Patreon here at the Retro Wrestling Archive. It's also going to be on his STS Pod Patreon. And what it's going to be very similar to what we do with the USWA show, except it's going to be me and Brian watching old episodes of the CWA, except we're not like going to pick a year and go week to week. We're just going to jump around, because this is going to be like a monthly thing. We may squeeze 2 in some months, but at the very least, it's going to be a monthly show, and we're just going to pick, random favorite episodes of ours to go back and watch and talk about. And the very first episode, the one we're going to be taping this upcoming week, that'll be coming out here on the channel, on the Patreon in a couple of weeks, we are going to be reviewing the, I think it's April 5th or 6th, 1986 episode. It's the CWA Championship Wrestling episode that featured the first ever Bill and Buddy show with Superstar Bill Dundee and Nature Boy Buddy Landell, an all-time favorite of ours, and that's what we're going to start with. And then from there, each month, we'll pick. It could be from any stretch of the CWA, from the stuff that's available from like 78 up through 1989. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping to make time to do some more, Memphis Championship Wrestling reviews. I'd like to review some of the Power Pro stuff. I would like to, if I had the time, and it may be a while before we get around to doing this, but I would like to, since they went head to head each week there for a year. I'd like to do a show where I watch the MCW show, watch the Power Pro show that aired the same Saturday morning, and then compare and contrast the two, and then kind of pick a winner, who had the better show that week. And I think that'd be a lot of fun, but man, I just don't have time to squeeze that into everything else that's going on right now. I'm going out doing appearances at wrestling shows, and going to be doing some conventions. Of course, selling the Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, the Uncrowned King of Professional Wrestling book. It's out now. You can get it at you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on booksamillion.com, barnesandnoble.com. It's on pretty much any reputable bookseller online. They're offering it. You can just search Eddie Gilbert book and you'll find it. Like I said, I'm going to be popping up at shows. I got, a couple of bookings in Mississippi this month. I'll be at the VIP Championship Wrestling show in Tupelo, June the 21st, and I'll have copies of the book for sale there. Then I'll be in Boonville, Mississippi, June the 28th for EPW Wrestling. Going to be doing some TV commentary, but also I'll have books there for sale and giving away podcast swag, stickers, and different things for the podcast. So if you're at one of those shows, please stop by and say hello. Even if you don't want to buy a book, stop by, get a sticker, say hey, let me know whether you like the podcast or you don't like the podcast. Whatever the case may be, I'd love to hear from you. And I'll be making some more appearances in July and August, plugging the Eddie Gilbert book and selling the Eddie Gilbert book. But I also have another book I'm working on with another big Memphis star. I'm not really going to say. I know we've teased it on the Dangerous Conversations, and me and Tommy are getting started on a book about Tommy's career. However, while we're working out some things on that, I've actually jumped in and I'm helping another Memphis star with a book, and it's going along really well. And it's taking up a lot of time right now. I should be working on it right now, quite frankly, but I wanted to take a few minutes to jump on here and kind of update everybody with the channel. I don't want to neglect this channel or the Patreon or anything like that, but got to get working on that book. So that's why the podcast, I don't really have time to do like the Memphis Championship Wrestling review and some of those things, but we're going to get back to it. So we'll see. Russell says, awesome job. Amazing plan. I plan on buying the Eddie Gilbert book. Sign whenever. See you in Florida. Hey, hopefully I can get down that way at some point. I'll be around selling the book. Doug is planning on doing some virtual signings, and he's going to be at shows. Him and Tommy right now are in Metropolis, Illinois, and they got shows coming up, and we're looking at maybe getting on some conventions throughout the rest of the year. And we'll be selling the Eddie Gilbert book and this other book I'm involved with. Hopefully we'll get some stuff, going on that as well. So, and plenty of book projects in the future. There's 3 or 4 in the works right now. More book projects than I've got time to begin to have time to work on, but we're going to make time for them. We're going to make time for this channel. We're going to make time for the podcast. I'm going to make time to do some more stand-up comedy at some point. It's all going to come together some kind of way. But hey, if you want to support the channel, if you want to support the podcasts, a great way to do it is by going over to uswapodcast.com, and you can click the link for our merch store. And we have a brand new T-shirt up over there. And every one of these designs I'm going to show you, you can get it as a T-shirt, you can get it as a hat, like what I got on right now. You can get it as stickers, phone cases, wall art, any number of things it's offered on. But this one right here, I'm pretty excited about. We teased it on Facebook and got a great reaction. And I talked to Tommy and I talked him into it. We've got that one, which is a good one, but that wasn't the one I was looking for. Where is the? Hold on, I can't see these pictures on here very well. Where is? There it is. The mugshot T-shirt of Tommy Wildfire Rich. There he is, grinning ear to ear. The other person involved in this, there's actually a mugshot of superstar Bill Dundee, but we're not going to sell Bill's mugshot, obviously. But yeah, you can get that on a shirt, a hat, stickers, whatever you want. Mugshot of Wildfire Tommy Rich. And right now, since it's a brand new design, for about another 24 hours, you can get that for just $16 over there. You can go to USWA Podcast, click on the merch store link, and you can get that shirt of Tommy's. You can get this Tommy Wildfire Rich shirt. As you can see across the bottom, it's available in different colors as well. We got the brand new Jeff Gaylord shirt just in time for June. If you get it, there's the Wrestling Know-It-All. So somebody deemed me a quote unquote wrestling know-it-all. And they were just being a prick. They got mad about, they didn't like my take on saying that Joe Hendry losing to Randy Orton at WrestleMania wasn't a bad thing, that it didn't hurt Joe, it didn't hurt TNA, it certainly didn't hurt the TNA title. And some so-called wannabe podcaster took offense to it and started referring to me as a wrestling know-it-all. And, well, instead of getting mad, I just went and made merch with it. I made this shirt. I've made this shirt right here, and I've actually sold quite a few of them. I've sold more of these T-shirts than that guy has followers for his podcast, so he can suck it. So I just decided to troll him, and then I took the little nickname that he gave me, trying to be an asshole, and I've made it my moniker, and I'm having fun with it, and I'm selling T-shirts, and that's what I do. That's just kind of asshole I am. You can check out the Retro Wrestling Archive T-shirt. That's pretty cool, right? That's a good looking shirt. We also have the Producer Smokey shirt. Now, people who's only listened to my podcast in the last year or so may not be as familiar with Producer Smokey. Back when we had Cheap Heat TV, which you can find those old episodes on the channel as well, we used to have a live weekly wrestling podcast where we interviewed local wrestlers in Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee. And Producer Smokey, who's actually one of my cats, we called him the producer of the show, and it was a fun gag. And we've alluded to that on the USWA show, but we've never really ran with it like we did on Cheap Heat TV. But Smokey's got a Facebook page. He's got about 600 followers that still follow his stuff on there and like it. So we made him another T-shirt to go with his other one. Like I say, there's the Retro Wrestling Archive shirt. We've, even though it hasn't debuted yet, it's debuting next week. We've already got a Retro Wrestling Review CWA podcast. We've actually sold a couple of those, even though the show hasn't even debuted. So look at that, right? That's pretty cool. Of course, we've got the 35th anniversary Memphis Mafia shirt. The 35th anniversary tour is going on right now. Like I said, Doug and Tommy, they're up in Metropolis, Illinois all weekend. Memphis Mafia in the house. If you want to celebrate that, check out this Memphis Mafia t-shirt. Or if you're a fan of Dangerous Conversations with Tommy Rich and Doug Gilbert, well, you can get one of the Dangerous Conversation shirts as well. There's also the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Gene Jackson. I like that one. I like that with the Lucha mask. It's a pretty cool logo. I do like that. And of course, there's the old favorite. We've sold a lot of these. There's actually a lot of people walking around wearing these. It's pretty cool, man. The Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast shirt. That's a pretty cool logo. I like that shirt. And yeah, there's people out there walking around at conventions and things wearing that shirt, and we appreciate the hell out of it. we'd love to see you walking around with one of those shirts too. So head on over to uswapodcast.com and you can click the link for merch, and all those shirts are there and available. But the brand new Tommy Rich mugshot shirt and stickers and hats and all that is currently on sale for about another 24 hours. You can get that shirt for $16, or any of the merch related to that design will be on sale for about another 24 hours. So grab you one up while you can save some money on it, right? And speaking of logos, we'll probably have some shirts with some of this. We got some pretty cool, got like some new retro wrestling archive logos that we're toying with, deciding which ones we want to use here on the channel and on our social media. I like that one there with the old VHS tapes. And then we've got some for the Retro Wrestling with Gene Jackson podcast. That one looks like a steel cage. That one looks like a belt. That's pretty cool, right? That might look good on a shirt. I always like when you integrate the VHS tapes into them, so that's a good one too. This one looks like one of those TV VCR deals from back in the day. And that one looks like an entranceway. So good stuff. So I guess that's about it. We've talked about the books. We've talked about the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast videocast version will be coming here to the channel, starting with season 2 here in a few weeks. Pretty excited about that. Talked about the Google Drive. We got all the Power Pro up there. We got KW coming. More stuff getting added there soon. All the new podcasts that have joined the channel with more on their way. And of course, look for the OVW 2004 season to hopefully have it all up by the end of the weekend, along with some more AWA 87 and some surprises that I'll drop in there on you. So I guess that's going to be it. Thank you to Russell and everybody who joined us here live. And if you're watching this after the fact, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I see people more and more sharing links to videos from this channel on Facebook. We do appreciate it. It helps drive people here to the channel. So we do thank you for that. And we're going to keep this thing going as best we can. But like I say, if you want to support, best way to do it, you can share the channel with other people. You can go to the merch store, get a t-shirt, get a hat, get a sticker, whatever you want to get. Or you can join the Patreon. That's a great way. And we're about to be offering more exclusive stuff over there at Patreon, like the CWA podcast and some other fun things. We're going to, besides the Hot Mic show, we've got some goofy ideas for some things to do with some of these characters that everybody likes. And like I say, now that Corey's not on the USWA show anymore, we may have to find other ways to keep him involved in our lives, if you know what I mean. And, who knows, Andy Hales may have his own show for long. And so check that out. Coming up this week, like I say, we're going to be recording this Sunday. We are going to be recording the what we're calling the 1993 USWA season finale episode of the podcast. And we're going to be giving out some awards for the year. Some of them serious, some of them just fun, for some of our favorite and least favorite stuff from out the year of 1993. Should be a really fun episode. It's going to be me, Josh, Richard, and Brian Tremmel joining us for that one. Everybody's going to give their own awards for the year. So check that out. Should be a lot of fun. And then we're going to be heading on back to 1991 USWA. So should be a good time. And we thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time here live from the archive here at the Retro Wrestling